Guys, thank you so much for coming through. And thank you so much for hosting this beautiful evening in celebration of true craftsmanship and the convergence between such craftsmanship and sort of modern day contemporary artistry. And so, yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining me. We've got Shaun with me. You know, we've got Gary, we've got Mick with us as well, from the Barbour side, as you saw in their extended cameo in that video. And yeah, I'm super glad to be sharing the stage with you guys to just talk through this moment, how it came about, speaking about some of the details that go into the jacket itself and into your broader process, Shaun, yours as well. And wanted to understand what we think this collaboration means for future collaboration or creative approach going forward, because I think it's definitely a step in a beautiful direction. But I want to start off with our collective introduction to Barbour, and I think Shaun, starting with yourself, like coming up out of Harlem, across a real golden era of creative output in New York. What was your first introduction to Barbour, and take me from that point up until this moment where we're able to share the stage here for such a collaboration?
My dad had sent me it was called an oilcloth jacket, right? And I realized that these are the wax cotton jackets. And one day I was on the train and I saw an older guy wearing a Barbour jacket. And I was like, what is that jacket? The same wax cotton fabric that I had, and like the one that I had, it was really funny. I used to put tons of wax on it that it actually looked like a leather jacket because it had just so much wax on it. And like then from there I learned like what the Barbour brand was, and I got a few Barbour jackets in that time, and I've just always been a fan of the brand. Like it's just like really cool. Like a thing that is really important to me is functionality, and I really like workwear and hunting clothes. So there you go.
It was a perfect marriage in that case. And so when you were first sort of interacting with these pieces, I guess just as a consumer, did you have any scope or notion on the type of process that actually ultimately does go into the fabrication of these pieces that you did become privy to, obviously, in this video and in your visit up to the factory? Yeah,
like I said, like in the video, like I really wear my clothes, and I'm like really into them, and like the construction of them. Like my godmother, my aunt, like she produced hats and made different types of jackets and things like that. So I've always been interested in how things were made. I didn't know how to sew, and I never learned how to sew, but I was always very, very interested. Like any piece that I've ever owned, like I like covet it and like look at it all the time and try to figure out where it's made, what it's made out of, and the best ways to take care of it, to keep it for a long time. Like so. Again, like the wax, and another thing about wax cotton, I just think it's just really cool. I just love like that it's a natural fiber that's just treated with wax. The whole thing is just like really cool.
Yeah. So for sure. And so, guys, I mean, you have been integral, to be quite honest, over the best part of the last 3 decades in the development on the menswear side of the brand. And so, what was your introduction to Barbour? I know by the way, guys, we just had dinner and we had a bit of an intro, and so there is some repetition, but we had a great conversation about your upbringing in that neck of the woods up in the Northeast, and how that brought you to working with Barbour ultimately.
I think Barbour's, so it's been there 130 years as a business, 130 years manufacturing virtually on the same spot. And so it's always part of your life if you're involved in clothing. But of course it's traditional. It's not a fashion brand in the sense that you set out to do fashion, but you make product that works, and that maybe makes it fashionable because it has an authenticity toward it. So I've had a long history in clothing. So I worked for Nigel Caborn 25 years, worked for Barbour 25 years. So my career has been in two of the maybe seminal types of product for menswear in this world, and they happen to both be in Newcastle. So I was pretty fortunate. I didn't have to travel far. Right. And I think it's been a real privilege to work there. But I think what it is we have a pantheon of jackets over the years. We've developed over 130 years, Industrial Revolution, all the way through the leisure pursuits, and more latterly into a fashion market. It's been really important because you can see a growth and you can see a change and you can see an evolution and you can see how businesses that are old, maybe it's heritage businesses, are not moribund, that they can have life, they don't die, but you do need sort of the collabs that we've done with Shaun. You know, obviously it's not a commercial collab in that instance, but it's something which maybe helps us be perceived in a different manner. And that's the important thing, is that we're open, we're transparent and honest as a business. You deal with other people who are transparent and honest. And I think, like yourselves, you'll find a similar sort of vibe from that. It's not necessarily about what the individual products are, but the spirit of things. I think we enjoyed this. We enjoyed the day because it was a day to do it in. It was a, what do we say? It was like Ready, Steady, Cook, but with jackets. We had a few ingredients and we had to make something. And Shaun was sort of the chef, and we were a little bit like his sous chefs on that day. So.
Well, look, it was a beautiful convergence, and I think I'm interested. You know, Barbour has centered itself around practicality and function. How, as designers, do you approach balancing, you know, a desire for expression of creative flair or ostentatious flair with ultimately what is quite a muted and fundamental traditionalist brand and all the values that exist beneath it?
I think it's got to be fit for purpose as a practical piece of kit. You know, as Gaz mentioned, it was workwear, so it's got to keep you dry, keep you warm, have practical. You can put all your pockets, everything you need, and then the function informs what it looks like, I suppose, really. So like, again, like we touched on in the video there, the reason the pockets are in the where they are and they're a certain size is because you hold everything you need
Certain
in them.
things, yeah, for sure.
So and we've changed over the years. There was more patch pockets here, but now we've got hand warmer pockets more because it's easy to put your hands in and keep them warm.
Of course.
And you don't need these top ones quite as much as you used to. So that's a practical evolution, I think.
For sure. And I think what's refreshing, obviously, is Shaun being given the autonomy to leave a stamp upon what is such a legendary silhouette as the Solway, which I'm wearing now, which is sort of resurfacing as a real focal point of Barbour's push at the moment. For you, Shaun, however much knowledge you had of the silhouette beforehand, how do you think that your kind of past in graffiti and other collaborative work informed you to be able to attack such a legacy piece and do it justice while also, you know, upholding your own creative edge as well?
Okay. I don't know. I would say, I don't know the best way to answer that question, but I guess the reason I really like Barbour jackets and because in New York, you know, like I don't drive. I live in a walking city. I walk everywhere. I'm outside all the time. I'm in all the elements. You know, like so I need clothes that work for me. Like, you know, like when it starts to rain and it's really heavy. We have very similar weather in New York that you have to London. You know, like so I need things that actually work for me. And then to be able to personalize it and be able to personalize it in the factory and be able to work with these guys, it was like such an honor to work with them. You know, like and to actually make this piece in a real way, not just me tearing something up and just throwing things on it, you know, like which I love to do, but but like to really get to work with the people who know the true functionality of the pieces and how to work them. Like it's just, I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, didn't answer that question and maybe just went to a whole other thing, but like that's just. Excuse me, that's just how I feel about it.
No, but there's value in that response. I guess I'll rephrase it then, not to be not so specific.
Okay.
When you approach collaboration as a general point and you have an extremely broad birth and history of successful collaborations across a number of different notable brands, when you are provided with a brief, however detailed or not, when you're considering how to approach things, are you considering brand legacy and upholding their USP as a primary? Are you considering how you can put your stamp on it as profoundly as possible?
I just do whatever I want to do,
right?
Honestly, and either it works or it doesn't. And I've been very lucky that things work. You know, I just, like I said in the video, I make things for me. I don't care if you like it. If I like it, then it's good. That's it. You know, and that's just really how I work.
Yeah. Well, look, it's
and sometimes that works with companies, and sometimes it doesn't. You know, like I've worked with a lot of brands that the things just did not ever come out. You know, like but that's on them. They lost out.
Facts. Cool.
I say from our perspective, I thought working with Shaun, it was one of probably the most collaborative collaboration I've worked on, because
Nice.
it was genuine, a meeting of ideas and minds, and what you probably didn't see there is that the jacket didn't fit you and needed several ones.
Yeah.
The arms were too short, so we were chopping several up and then adding the leather and to fit the streetwear, and the tracksuit thing was like we went through it in so much detail,
Yes.
which you didn't capture there, trying to get it just right.
No,
but it was
we
all
got that-
practically influenced.
And we got that done
We
in
got there
3
in the end,
days. You know, we got that whole thing done in 3 days. Like I had one idea that I came in with, and Barbour wasn't that into it. And then I had another idea, and they were like, "Yes, we can do that." And
Nice.
it worked out. It worked out very well. We got it done in 3 days. We got the actual full jacket done in 3. I got to see it complete. You know, like I didn't like leave, and it was like
It's
not
so
put
cool.
together.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
to put the jacket on and feel it, and it's great. Like I'm so happy with this piece.
Yeah, I think Mick mentioned in the video about the jackets that when you get them off somebody, a bit like your jeans, you know, if you like mine always have knees in them and stuff like that. So the jackets they're not flat once you deconstruct them. They're quite humped in some instances and stuff like that, or they've got big elbows in them. But it was really small, so when Shaun was saying, "Can you make this?" So we took the opportunity to integrate the idea Shaun had and then alter the fit. And to do that, I referenced something we were calling on the day a donor jacket. So we had another jacket that was a similar colour, which we were cutting up for the spares. And but we only had one of them, which was we didn't have much beyond that. So as I said, if we bollocksed up there, we thought then would have had to think differently. However, I think the main thing was when we were doing it, it was each idea, there was a good collaborative aspect because it wasn't forced. Shaun had an idea, didn't know how to realise it. We were then trying to think, because Mick and myself are very pragmatic as people. We cut patterns, we can make garments. It's our foundation to our type of design. But we used Shaun's idea as a catalyst. So we had somebody else's train of thought and thinking. And we're pretty receptive to that. And as representatives of Barbour, we just went with it. And I think all the way through we were micro-changing. And we were doing it sometimes through discussion, sometimes through it just looked good. We used a bit of serendipity, that worked. So we used all the tropes that you could do within design, but within a very short frame of time. And with a great deal of fun, which I think also helped. It was like that helped the process flow. It didn't feel hard work, it didn't feel forced. It just felt like, oh, that could go down that route or it could go down that route. But the ultimate aim was to get a jacket for Shaun that would represent Shaun's multimedia artwork, and that we as Barbour would see as an evolution of the Solway Jacket.
For sure. Well,
I think the time pressure was really helpful as well, because
Yeah.
you cut out all the procrastination.
Yes.
So everybody was buzzing to get it. That reception at the end when they brought the jacket up, everybody in the room was just blown away, weren't they?
Yeah.
And that was what we've been working towards at the end. Just we've got to get it finished for Shaun. We've got to get it finished. So we didn't spend 4 hours deciding whether we should add a centimetre onto the length of the sleeve, or how much wider we make the chest. We were just like, right, that fits, that looks good.
Yes.
Let's go, let's crack on.
Yeah.
And it really improved the process.
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you see there being some type of lineage in that regard to the way that you create as a multimedia artist anyway, where doing graffiti, for example, there's an instinctiveness to it. There's you don't know, for example, how long you even will have access to at any given space to do so. So did you see a lineage there, and did that prepare you well to attack this process?
I think so. Like, one thing, like with writing graffiti, like you have to get everything done right then, and you work with the materials that you have. So like that's helped me a lot in my artistic process. But working with brands and working in fashion has also helped me a lot, because it's like taught me to slow down a bit. But then when I'm working with like a lot of the brands that I work with, I guess like they kind of just want me to do graphics, but like I want to do way more than that. And like when I can push it, and I was able to really push it with these guys, like it was great, and it's just like to get it all done in that time, like it was just awesome. Again, I don't know if I just answered your question. I'm sorry.
No, you did. You did. It's wisdom nonetheless. We'll take it. we'll take what we can get, bro, for sure. But I think that to me, I'm just seeing a very beautiful alignment of two seemingly quite differing mediums or media, might I say. And I think for you guys, I guess, you know, could you have foreseen when you joined Barbour that you would be going all in on a collaboration with a graffiti artist from Harlem?
I would truthfully answer that no. But Barbour has changed, so it's become more and more receptive. The first collaborations that worked for Barbour successful was with our Japanese partners and Japanese designers, and I think that was a catalyst for change for Barbour. But it was still product, if you know what I mean. It wasn't working with an artist who has a different way of thinking, and that's so important, isn't that? All of us think the same way. How that's what the world should be like. We shouldn't all have to think the same way. But in clothing, to come from an art point of view, gives it such a much more interest, because clothing, just getting clothing, can become a bit Frankenstein. You know, so you need something that changes the paradigm and makes it more interesting. And I think that's what's here. And I think Barbour, as an old business, still had the sort of courage to sort of probably go with Shaun. Obviously, the catalyst through the end, the great guys at End who sort of introduced us. And that really worked for us. It was, you know, there wasn't any opposition from the, maybe, shall we say, the hierarchy of Barbour. It just says, get on. What comes out of that, we trust you. There was a lot of trust in that process. And
also, it's like perfect timing. You know, like I've been working with a lot of different brands for like the past like 6-7 years. So like now I have a better understanding of working with corporate brands. You know, like I say like maybe 5 years ago, if somebody told me no, I just get like bummed on the project and like not want to do it anymore. You know, like where now I'm like, okay, I have to switch it up. I have to come with another idea. I have to have more than one idea. And then also, you know, like Gary was retiring as we were working on this project. So it was his last week, and I got the honor of working with him in his last week of being at the company.
Well, thank you.
And I feel like you were just down to get busy. I mean, like, and it was like not so like tight, you know, like, and I also, and from my understanding, like a lot of people in the corporate office were like on vacation while we were working on this thing. So we got to really get busy and like, just like, and not have any like, you know, like, oh, I don't know if that's going to work kind of thing. And then it is a one-off piece too. So like we get to really make something like really
inherited
special.
your spirit.
Yeah,
while
I
we were
appreciate
doing
that.
it.
I inherited your spirit, bro.
What spirit inheritance?
Yes.
The New York step.
You saw it. It's one of my finest moments.
Like this project was a lot of fun for me. I had so much fun, you know. Like, and I've never been to Newcastle either, and like just the sun not going down till 10 o'clock was like just all of it was just like
some people in the back have been to Newcastle. They were from Newcastle.
That doesn't count.
Big
It's a lovely part of the world.
Man, like,
Not as warm as here. And a bit
but
wetter as
it was
well.
It was actually really warm
It
all
was,
week. It was a great
We were on the
great
beach.
time. Yeah, I was on the beach. Like it was great, man.
I mean,
like,
the reason we do wax jackets is it rains, and I often used to say we're a bit like a product of the region, a bit like Parma Ham. We just make wax jackets because it's pissing down
Everyone
all the
needs
time.
it.
So.
Yeah. No, it's good. Well, big up the tune. And Shaun, I think, you know, you spoke briefly initially about the notion that there was an initial idea which didn't work out, and so as not to be maybe as reactive as once upon a time you were, and came with the second idea which ultimately culminated in this. Could you explain a little bit about the approach that you did ultimately take to reinterpreting the jacket, and maybe what the roots of such a concept are?
I wanted to make like a full crust punk jacket out of a Barbour jacket. I thought that would be really wild. And then like a lot of the imagery I wanted to put on the jacket, Barbour was like, maybe not, you know, and and I completely understand it. You know, like I was like, you're right. You know, like it was a lot of like copyright stuff that I wanted to put on the jacket that probably would have caused them some issues. So
politics,
when I was actually flying over to work on this piece, I came up with the idea, and then I was like, you know what, these lines on a Barbour jacket, even in the self fabric, would be really sick. But like I think putting the leather on it made it more uptown. Made it more like where I'm from, you know,
For sure.
like, and I still wanted to have that like punk aesthetic. So originally I wanted to do like a hair on hide, but like Barbour doesn't use fur, so they had this ocelot thing. It just all like came together. Like it's like I said, it was perfect timing. You know, like with I think in anything that's successful, you know, it takes like hard work, talent, and also tons of luck. And I had so much luck on all of this, you know, like, because like just that you guys were so open to work with me and like down to make this piece, and like and you guys gave me tons of advice, and there's little elements that I took from pieces that Gary had already made, like the safety pins that was that was part of a jacket that he inside out jacket that he made that was so good, like and another thing that was really funny is like all the jackets I tried on there just fit me. You know, like, and again, I'm a fat dude, man. Like nothing ever fits me, and all these pieces fit me perfectly. So it was just like everything just.
They're all my
aligned.
jackets.
Yeah, there we go.
We had at least the same figure in common, didn't we?
Oh, divine alignment.
Yeah, so it was just a perfect lineup, man. It was just really great, man.
And then I think we saw also in the video, there was a point where you were like, look, I can now see this, I can visualize it. And is that something that you had a sense of as soon as you landed, or it was really developed as you guys were kind of working and bouncing off of one another?
As we were working on it,
Right.
like, because, you know, I had the idea and I thought it would work, but then to really see it all come together, you know, like, and again, like I've been, with graffiti, you know, like you kind of have to do everything yourself. You know, like you have like your friends that you work with and the people that you're like trying to impress, you know, and everything. But like, as I've gotten more into my artistic process, I've learned to like let things go and like actually ask for help. You know, like when I make clothing, I think like I made these jeans, right? And like I don't have an embroidery machine. I don't know how to use an embroidery machine. I don't know how to like program it. I have a friend that does, and he has a really good business, and we work together all the time. And like I bring him ideas that are always really difficult and annoying to him, but he works with me, and like I mean, we make them happen. So like that experience has helped me a lot as well.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So like that all like came into play with this jacket. You know?
And I think it's one of the things for me that it just excites me about the design is just the integration of some of your your well-known sort of images, and the fact from a sentimental standpoint that it is Lil Lennox and that's your son, and I was fortunate enough to meet him, and he's a bubble of energy and everything one would expect the son of Shaun Crawford to be quite honest. But like in the past, have a lot of your images been based upon real life experience or real life people, or is this now a surge into that direction with son?
Most of my drawings, characters, they all just naturally look like me. I think that's just like a thing that artists do, you know, and a lot of my work, like I work with like this devil character that is a self-portrait of myself, and then like since when I knew my son was coming, like with these jeans here, like these were like this is what I thought he would look like. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then when he was born, I'm like, oh, I know what you look like. So like now we're
really
like,
getting the
this is
detail
him right here.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And actually, like it's kind of uncanny. Yeah. It's pretty accurate. Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I guess it would have been the cherry on top would have been having him, I guess, in the factory at one point. But it's great that he is here and can share this moment with us.
Yeah, and I try to incorporate him in everything that I'm doing. Like, you know, like my dad was a builder and a maker, and he showed me how to make it. Like he taught me how to swing a hammer and screw a screw. You know what I mean? So like, I want to do the same thing for myself.
Absolutely, and that will be the case, undoubtedly. More power to him and yourself and your wife as well.
Yes.
But yeah, I think for me, I'd like to take the opportunity to open it out to some questions from everyone, unless there's any thoughts, you know, Gary, Mick, from your side.
No, I mean, really, this is more about Shaun, really. Shaun was the catalyst and the instigator of all this project. It sort of fit neatly for us because Barb, I don't know if you know, we have for 100 years, we've been recycling our product. We re-wax, but we repair and we remake, and we used to do this globally, and we still do that. So it fit into what we call circularity of our product. You know, that there's another life to this garment, and I think in this instance, it's got another life. People can view it differently, but it's still true to Barbour's roots. Sure. It's just got a different way. It's not seeing the future in that sense. Oh, this is the future of fashion. But what it does is to understand that you can do professional garments even in a circularity way. It's not just ham-fisted. It does require some sort of, maybe it's artisan, but it requires an artist to sort of give it that new lease of life, I think.
For sure. Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess your journey with Barbour has come to an end now.
To partial end, yeah.
Partial end. Yeah. Watch this space. And then so, Mick, for you, I mean, how are we going to survive without Gary at the other end of the
easy,
table?
I think.
Easier, not easier.
Well, I like to bring my dad along every now and again, you know. But yeah, I mean, we chat about stuff all the time, and Gary's going to be coming in and helping out. And what we do is very collaborative in the same way, which I think is one of the reasons. Sometimes 3 people together don't make good decisions.
Right.
But on this occasion, it just gelled.
Yes, because we're almost one. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
There's only 2 in the room.
So there's got to be a mediator.
So we do think a great deal similar. You know, we have similar background.
Aren't we?
Yeah,
and
I
from
think
the same place.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite nice. It's like we called me his father. I was going to say brother, but I'll leave. Father will work for me.
Nice. Well, look. On that note, I'd like to open it up. Okay. Okay, fine. So you can catch these guys.
Don't ask me nothing.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Don't get Shaun started, is what he's
Yes,
saying.
yes, I will talk your ear off.
It's been an absolute pleasure to share the floor with you guys. Thank you so much. I think the chemistry that we saw in the film and here is special. So yeah, give it up.
So, and thank all of you for coming out. I really appreciate it. Thank you.